Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to another review. This time is the Storm Collectibles Omega Rugal. And let me tell you, I hated this guy as a kid. I had a whole dream of destroying this guy in 1/4. And I probably ended up spending like $10. Could never defeat him until I got like really good at beating him. And it probably wasn't until King of Fighters like 98. But from 95 to 97, and I get my butt whipped. But anyway, special thanks to Storm Collectibles for sending them out to me. As everybody knows, he's one of those favorite guys. They decided to do him first in the King of Fighters line, and I think that was a great choice. I mean, it's not every day you get a company that's going to start out with doing villains, and I like that choice, especially for Rugal, who I'm pretty sure everybody has some type of dramatic experience of losing to him. He was a cheater. He was a cheater. Anyway, let's jump into this review. Omega Rugal is amazing. I'm talking about the character. As far as the toy goes, it is equally just as. I think it's one of those things where he kind of just jumps off the page. He's larger than life, and it's really cool. And like I said in my Muhammad Ali review, it's one of those things where they take little tweaks of the body, and just it happens to turn out just better and better every time. It's something that they feel like if they can work on the body and make it better, it just does. It works better, and it shows. It's Omega Regal is an excellent face sculpt, and I'm gonna pop the head off so you guys can see real quick. And I think it's pretty much, this is literally like the face he makes perfectly captured. And I think it's dope. You know what I mean? But anyway, let's pop this head back on and let's get back to the actual review. I'm taking up too much of your time already. But yeah, this Omega Rugal is just like, it is like the fighting game dream of a guy who you clearly know you couldn't beat, so now you want to own him as a toy to beat on your other toys. But articulation wise, the head can go down, it can go up, it can tilt left and right. You can actually push it down a little further if you don't like the way it sits, so that's actually really cool. As far as the arms go, it's standard Storm Collectibles articulation. Starts off by, you can lift the arms actual all the way up. You can rotate them around with little to no effort at all. And it has a butterfly joint. Now the thing is, his butterfly joint is going to be a little bit different. Instead of you kind of pushing it forward, you're going to rotate from the top and go a little forward, or you can rotate a little back, and it leaves a little opening because you know they use the soft chest technique. But it is still worthy of calling it a great articulation. I know some people don't like these gaps. They do their best to try to fill it in, as you can see here. So that's fine. The arm has bicep swivel, which is easily one of my favorite things. The double joint actually rotates all the way up. As you can see here, it's really nice. So you can make a muscle, flex on them with Rugal. But more importantly, when you want to do moves like his Kaiser wave. So let's see how the arms look if you were to do his Kaiser wave. And I want to talk about that because, again, you want it to be like video game accurate, right? So yeah, he can do his Kaiser wave. I don't think it's going to be one of those issues. So he can do it. As far as the ab crunch goes, it's actually stupendous. You can actually fold it all the way forward with this character. It's not an issue at all. It's one of those things where his ab crunch can go really far forward. It can go really far back. It is not an issue for these type of figures. The waist crunch is rotating really well. And this is something that they had a problem with before, but obviously they fixed it. Because Rugal doesn't have these issues even at the prototype sample stage. So I'm really enjoying that. The other thing I worried about was the T-joint, which again has vastly improved here in this area, the crotch. So leg articulation can go all the way out. And I know it's squeaky. That's because this is a sample. But as you can see here, he does not have any issues so far. Mine actually spreads all the way out and does it really well. The legs can go really far across. They actually go really far forward and back. And the leg articulation is indeed double jointed. But because they have the whole dynamic of the pants and the way Kiki scopes, it just kind of ends here. But if you wanted to be able to do your move, the Genocide Cutter, I do not think you will have an issue. Because as you can see here, he is Genocide cutting this screen. You know? So, if you want to do that 3-hitter quitter, that dragon punch motion with kick, you can do your Genocide Cutter. As far as the ankles go, the ankle rockers are a little not as good as previously. But I think it's an issue with sculpting the pants and shoes. I think because I pulled it out a little and it extends a little further. But this is the best you'll get as far as articulation out of the ankle. I think that's probably the only downfall on this figure. But he holds up very well despite being very articulated everywhere else. The shoes actually still hold very, very well. It could just be me. Maybe I'm balancing a little better, but I hope people don't have to worry about that because as you see, no problem. Now, as far as accessories that Rugal comes with, it's pretty dope. So, like I mentioned before, Genocide Cutter. You get that. Yeah, no problems. You get a Genocide Cutter. And this is a really dope effect. Now, for a second, I had to question myself until I thought of it. I was like, yo, man, how am I going to attach this? I thought I would just hook it on the foot like previously. No, they went the extra mile, right? And you see the part that's actually here for stands and things like that. You can just kind of just plug it into the foot. That's the whole idea of the Genocide Cutter. You plug it into the foot and it works. As you can see here, voila. And it holds. That means when you genocide cut somebody, you are legit genocide cutting somebody. They're going to be hurt. And that's really cool. It's something that's so simple that I don't think most of us thought of, that it's just easy to just do. It's cost effective. You don't have to worry about hooking it in. You can use it for other stuff. It was a very good idea. And I never thought about it until I saw it. So that's pretty good. Next up, I want to talk about the head sculpts. Then we're going to go over the other effects. But this was the standard head he came with, which again looks exactly like Rugal, and I think this was dope. Dope. If you want to worry about the hair, you can actually remove the hair piece on each one. It doesn't do anything, but I just think it's really cool that you can still do that in case you wanted to paint it or add blood scars or add anything extra that you want to your head sculpts. Then you get his angry. I finally made Rugal angry by getting him down to the red, and he's going to do his SDM on me. So there's this head. And this is the growling face. Here you have the grinning face. And like I said, overall, he's just super photogenic. I think these head sculpts are really, really dope. And I would possibly use these for everything. This is really nice. Next up, we have the effect part for him doing his charging power. Now, these actually come in 2 parts in package. You can actually set it to be side by side, which is cool. You can have these nice blue flames. Or you can set it to actually be around him by turning it into a circle piece. And now you can charge up and use your Orochi power to decimate your opponents, right? Really cool. Last but not least, as far as effects and weapons go, you also get 1 piece of his energy absorption or energy reflector, depending on which version of Rugal you're playing with. Obviously, when you collect all the King of Fighters, you'll be able to complete this and it will actually fit around him. And I think this is one of those effects that I must absolutely have. Whether I'm using it for Rugal or using it for Ultron or whatever it's going to be, this is a must-have effect. I think this is really, really dope that they included this as a build an effect part. So that's cool, and this is the first time I've seen this done as an effect part, as a build an effect. So it's really nice. Omega Rugal also comes with 2 more sets of hands, that being his energy grabbing, energy absorbing hands. These are his action hands. And then you get open palms for reflecting, using them to bounce off walls, holding for doing handstands and things like that. So these are the standard hands it comes with. Mostly because Rugal is spent copying moves as opposed to making his own. Except for the Genocide Cutter, everything else is stolen from him. Like, he's just stolen moves. So it's really cool that they kind of just nailed him simply and went straight for the Omega Rugal. I think it's perfect. I think this figure is great as a first interpretation of an SNK figure done by the company. It was just smart. So, I mean, that's just my opinion. That's fine. But again, I have fond memories of Omega Rugal, so this is my thing. But anyway, let's jump into the size comparisons. Omega Rugal is here. So let's talk about him next to Kazuya Mishima. So with the Tekken character, he towers over even the Tekken character, Kazuya Mishima. Right? Then next up, we're going to do him next to... Let's see. Let's do Rain. I have stuff left out from before. Then we're going to do him next to Ken. And I wanted to do him next to Akuma, but I honestly forgot to take him out. So I'll do him next in photos. And if you know the height on Ken, you know that Goki / Akuma is a tad bit taller. So him and Rugal will look great fighting each other. Next up, we're going to use Mezco Superman. And he is tiny next to Rugal. Absolutely tiny. But Rugal is supposed to tower over any and everything and all his opponents. So this is a good chance to display that. Here he is next to an Articulated Icons Ninja. So, again, that imposing look on Rugal is just perfect here. As he goes against maybe you can have him as Navy SEAL looking crazy as he gets defeated. Here he is next to a Synthetic Human. And again, none of these are any match for Omega Rugal. Then we have Kamen Rider Kuga, who stands and looks like a tiny me next to my tall friend Greg. So that's just not going to happen. Next up, we have a Mythic Legions Orc, which again, all these guys just tower, just look tiny next to him. Here is a Black Panther from Marvel Legends. So any of the regular, even normal size characters just look tiny compared to these guys. But here he is, next to a Storm Ali, and even he towers over Ali. So, you know, it wasn't really much of a choice, and that's fun. But I think they look absolutely wonderful in terms of David and Goliath shots and things like that. But if you're going to do strictly the Storm collectible stuff, I think everything is properly in scale and you won't have an issue. All in all, I think this is a dope piece. It's an obvious must-have. It's just, I love King of Fighters. So I'm so glad that someone's actually doing figures, especially after stuff was canceled with the Bandai stuff. So it's really great to have. Actually, real quick, if you wait a few seconds, I'll actually do a Terry Bogard next to him from the D-Arts line, the canceled D-Arts line. So let's open him up very quickly because he's actually right next to me. And you'll see. So real quick, here's the comparison. So here's Terry, Tiny D-Arts, next to the Storm Omega Rugal. And I love the scale on both of them because it actually shows you something that's larger than life. Especially as Omega Rugal, I think it works. Especially if you want to do the, like I said, David and Goliath shots. But, you know, now that Bandai is not doing SNK stuff, I think it's wonderful that Storm has kind of picked it up and you can do some cool stuff. One thing I did forgot to do is do the Figma, Iori, and Kyo because I forgot I actually owned them for a second. But I'll do them in final shots after the review. Again, guys, I appreciate you watching. I appreciate you. I hope you found it informative. And as always, do good, be good, drink your water. Later.